So, welcome to Tirana, the New York of the Balkans. It's quite an amazing city and I really love it. It's my favorite city in the Balkans and it's the New York of the Balkans, there is no doubt. It's beautiful and I will show you some of the central stuff here. After a journey through Montenegro and the missing Adriatic highway, maybe you followed some of the videos, and the evening in Tirana, beautiful as it is, we are here now in this amazing city which always has a lot to offer. Here, some bizarre form of wall painting, a city where you can study, where you can live, where you can be very happy. I personally lived here 6 years and it was very happy years for me. And I'm now back for the weekend and working on my video channel and somehow trying to get the idea how Tirana is going now in 2021. I've not been here 3 years, so there's always something to learn, some things develop, and I wonder if New York of the Balkans is the right concept, which I have written a paper, I think it was 10 years ago, that this will be the New York of the Balkans. And you know, it's coming up. There's of course much will still needs to be improved, but honestly, in many ways, we are entering now the historic center. There is a major building. This is was the most famous hotel, the Tirana International Hotel. But behind it, now it's really moving up towards, I would say, 15 floors. Here we are at 25. And the New York style development is the future of this town. It will be highly intensified and it is already moving in that direction. The mayor has done a wonderful, courageous decision and has pedestrianized the main square, the Skanderbeg Square. We are coming there in one moment and it was really the right decision. Many of you might, if you ever have been in Tirana, was a lot of traffic here in the center. It was quite terrible. And as I said yesterday on Twitter, it is courageous to pedestrianize the main square. This was the right thing. We have not even done that in Linz. So that's really the good decision. I'm very much congratulating to Erion Villiers. Here we are now at the Opera and the National Theatre. Here something still needs to be improved, I guess. But let's think it is construction time and period. So there is the need to get things done. Now we're entering the big square and here the Albanian flag. Here, welcome to Albania. It's a NATO member, a beautiful country, lot of touristic potential, and really it is amazing here. I show you the flag, and here we are. First time for me after after many years, I've never seen the square pedestrianized. It was a real traffic chaos here around. This was the main roundabout of the city. And now it has turned out to be quiet, beautiful, and it is amazing. Here you have this typical pine trees, so typical for this region and so beautiful. Here the National Theatre, here is where, when you listen to the interview with President Nishani, here was the Skanderbeg and the helmet and the sword of Skanderbeg exhibited at the 100 years of Albania, where it came back from Austria for this period. And here, this is the Boulevard Sogoisi, beautiful, and now they have made a continuation. That's also very impressive. I will have to take a look at that one. And here you see all this amazing Boulevard Sogoisi, the central kind of parade ground in the past, now without cars. Amazing, I love it. Here you see another big building, here another one that's also a new tower. So the New York of the Balkan is moving ahead and it's impressive and I love it. What the mayor didn't do is pedestrianize the Blocko. That is the main kind of amusement part where the night is long and the people are beautiful, and then doing the Giro, the driving up and down the strip with the cars, and that's of course a disaster. I don't know why the courage has left him, but maybe there will be some better wisdom coming up and hopefully they will also pedestrianize the main smaller streets in the Blocko, and it would be much better, safer to go out, cleaner. I mean, it's not environmental conscious to let the people drive up and down in small streets where they anyhow cannot drive. But okay, obviously you see here the opera, here the New York of the Balkan in the making. Of course, here Skanderbeu, the mosque of Tirana, the sign of religious harmony. It's an open city, all religions are welcome. It's a European capital. Here Skanderbeu, the hero of the resistance of the Christians against Muslim domination, the biggest Albanian hero. Here you see this building of the war-style Italian period. They have the Ministry of Finance and some other administration buildings. The famous theater, which was such a scandal and will have major repercussions. Here you have, of course, the central bank, very active here. And I will make a separate video about the need to adopt the euro in Albania. Obviously, that's my priority and my main campaign. I want to make sure that the euro will be introduced here. And here is the building of the Central Bank of Albania. And that's basically here the main attractions, the Central Bank, the mosque, the opera. It's beautiful, I love it, yeah. And now we're moving a bit up towards the boulevard, and I will go to show you some of these beautiful assets Tirana has to offer. I think we will move through the Austrian street. That's one of the streets here. It's very beautiful, and because Austria has a big tradition here, 100 years ago, 1912 actually, 110 years soon, 9 years now, and Austria has recognized, because we were strategically not interested to have Serbia taking this land and killing the people, and so basically and having access for the Russians for the Adriatic Sea. So what happened is they have then started to be to recognize the independence of Albania. That was the historic success of 1912. Unfortunately, it was one of the key driving issues that led to the First World War, because the Serbs were, of course, completely upset, and it was one of the driving forces behind many of the terrible things which happened then in 1914. So Albania played a huge role in European history for that. Here is the headquarters of the Socialist Party. You will recognize Edi Rama, one of the most famous European Balkan politicians, and the mayor, former mayor here, and then he has basically been the gentleman who managed this country. In some ways he had done good things. I don't want to be completely negative. He was obviously also constrained financially, but he could have done much more. In infrastructure he has done little. On revitalization of the city he has done a lot. Yeah? Honestly, it's really looking much better, much cleaner and much more developed. You know, when you are the first time here, you might still have some issues, but this is definitely the best way. I don't find the Austrian street sign now, maybe they have changed it, but this was the Ruga Austriaca at least once. I hope he hasn't changed it. And here you see the normal traffic level of Tirana. It's a very crowded city. There is a lot of communication going on. It's a big city. And where is this Austrian table? I think this one I didn't find now in the speed. I will do more videos during my time here, and I will show you all of it, but it is really amazing. I really love it. And just, you know, you will see, now we saw the church, the mosque, now there's the Greek Orthodox Church, and this will be the next thing I will show you. It was only in construction when I lived here, but now it seems to be ready. And you see here this church, and behind it there was the Ministry of Defense once. I think it will be still the same. So things have developed. It's a religious, tolerant and open country. It's a European country and it should be in the European Union. I think I mentioned that already. I think you got the message. Here is one of these amazing sky towers, and you see, of course, also a lot of poverty still, and tragically, and a lot of wealth. It's a city full of contrasts. In all transition countries, you see this enormous level of wealth on the one hand, the enormous level of poverty on the other. It's a bit of a tragedy. But on the other hand, you know, people, of course, now in the hotel I had a chat, many say 30 years of transition should be enough, but unfortunately it seems it is not. Sadly, things will take more time, and so I have started all this campaigning about introducing of the euro and being a bit more faster because it's a beautiful place. But unfortunately, we are losing more and more time with bad leadership and bad decisions. Here's one of the, I think it's the Ministry of Defense. Here's the Central Park, it's the Park of the Youth. There's this beautiful coffees there. And now we have the Ruga Ibrahim Rugova. I'm very happy about it. I just discovered it. No, it was already done some years ago. It's of course the link between the countries Kosovo and Albania is very strong, and Rugova is of course a hero as well here in Albania. And here we walk through his street, and here we come through this beautiful place. It's my favorite street actually. This is called the Muslim Shuri Street. It's one lesser known partisan activist of the past, of the communist resistance. But this street obviously should be pedestrianized. It has actually, they have removed at least some cars, I see. That is much better now to have the cars removed. So he did something. Arion really has done something. I have to say, he has tried. Yeah? But obviously the real thing is this street and the small streets in the Blocko must be pedestrianized. Yes, pedestrianized. And then revitalized, like we have done it in Maria-Hilfer-Straße. I mean, that's not so complicated, yeah? This is the Maria-Hilfer-Straße of Tirana. It's the main shopping street. Here are the high-class shops. Many of them are really quite high-class, and the jewelries and the boutiques. But of course, removing the cars and the parking was a good step. But now the step must come to do the main effort and pedestrianize Muslim Shuri. I'm calling for that now for a decade. Has not happened. Interestingly enough, on the other side, the Toptani Street has already been pedestrianized, and it's very good. It turned out very good. There's public viewing of the football normally, and street markets, very beautiful. And all this has to continue now on that side as well. Of that beautiful street, you see a lot of trees giving shade. So here it is actually very nice, and I'm very happy to be back. It's quite amazing, and it's early here, of course, 9 o'clock on a Sunday, not a lot of people, but imagine if this is full and people are walking and shopping. That is the future of Tirana, and it's a great European capital. What it needs, obviously, is better governance. That can only be achieved inside the European Union, ultimately. So we need a European consensus, like I have made already many videos about, and then we need also the euro to be introduced here, and then fast-track accession. That is my proposals beyond pedestrianizing of that street, to have it very clear. I will do later during the day also a specific video about why Albania needs to introduce the euro now, and obviously that Albania should join with Montenegro and Macedonia, the European Union, in 2021. I think anybody who has seen a video of me or listened to my podcast or followed my post has understood that already. So that's absolutely necessary now, and this needs to be done. And then obviously to make it, and that will be part of the process, you know, to Europeanize the urban infrastructure and to continue the progress. You see, they had gone, Erion Velia has gone the halfway. I'm positive surprised really. Urban Relindia, they call it, the renaissance of the city. That was one of their slogans. And obviously they have done here less parking, but there are still cars in that street. And this street would be perfect to put it like Maria-Hilfer-Straße in Vienna. And that's my call. Anybody has been to Maria-Hilfer-Straße knows. When you have not been, I maybe make a video on Maria-Hilfer-Straße, not the outer or the inner. I have one in my collection of videos as well on that one. So that's basically the first impressions of Tirana. I will do more videos today and keep you posted. And for now, think about it. What is important is the euro for Albania. It's important EU membership. Countries like this cannot by themselves develop the infrastructure required, nor have the regulatory framework, nor get the political stability and consensus without clear EU accession perspective. Simply impossible, because outside of the EU, for smaller countries at the periphery, it's very hard to find capital and unity consensus to really move onwards and upwards. And Albania, for this reason, is also quite stuck in this last decades because of the lack of a real serious EU accession process, which we have unfortunately frozen more or less since Croatia because of a mix of Islamophobia and internal problems in the EU and many other issues of contention, and also this kind of lack of leadership, the Russian resurgent kind of anti-Europeanism and the consequent level of massive Russian intervention in the EU with Brexit and all these other issues. Weak American leadership has really not helped. Now we are in a better phase with America being back. Hopefully Europe will be back on the Balkans as well, and then we gradually can contain this negative Russian influence and then hopefully have a successful 2020s, economically, politically, and also on the accession decade. I had yesterday this debate with one of the Twitteratis about how this period from 2002 to 2009 really went, and we had so much progress, and now we are stuck for a decade. We made some smaller things, but on the bigger things we are unfortunately stuck. And so here comes the point to try to get this now forward and onwards and upwards. And this is my call. You see, the city is beautiful. Here is also one of the main residential areas. I will show you still the Lana River and give you some overview about the city. I walked a small half circle now along the inner ring. It's really quite beautiful here. It's of course this Mediterranean flair and the beauty of that city is amazing. I really love it. Yesterday walking through the city, it was simply amazing. Yeah? And it's something I really, it's my, after Vienna and Linz obviously my hometowns, but from the country, from the cities I lived longest, this is my favorite and I really like it. I show you now the Lana River. This is the inner ring road, like the Gürtel if you want, or not the Gürtel, the ring road maybe it's better to say, the ring road in Vienna. Here on the other side, this is what is called the Blocko, where this was the part of the town where the communists lived, and it was closed actually to the population. That's why it's somehow contentious to close it again. I don't say to close it fully, but to close it for traffic in the evenings after 5. There should be no car allowed from 5 to midnight or something like this. This can be easily done. It's done in many Balkan cities. Here you have this ring road, beautifully and fine. And also the Lana River was very dirty, and still the water quality is a big issue, but at least it's now cleaned up. They planted more trees. You know, it's complicated obviously to have significant progress, but you know, they made a real kind of a forest out of the Lana River, which is one way to do it. And here is the area now where the city goes on and on. It is really growing a lot, and it's the New York of the Balkans. And now thanks a lot for this one. My first video, a small tour. More to come during today, and keep you posted. Thanks a lot for European Tirana. May turn it in a capital of the European Union. It's absolutely ready, and also be a proud member of NATO. And now it's time for the Euro. More to come from Pax Europiana on this NATO tour. And this is what I'm very happy about, to be in NATO Albania today and tomorrow. Thanks a lot. More to come. Bye.